3,000 flights were delayed or cancelled in the US, causing travel chaos due to extreme weather warnings.
Now, storms threaten a swathe of eastern US while the south and west continue to bake in a heat wave. So according to reports, the heat wave across the United States South will remain in effect, with record-breaking numbers expected to shift up the west coast into California and Oregon. More than 150,000 residents in the U.S. Midwest were still without power after storms over the weekend, including over 40,000 people in Missouri. The airlines and federal transportation agencies, they're struggling with severe weather and staffing issues recently. Now, the surge in holiday travel, that's exacerbated the situation further, while multiple airlines have been experiencing delays and cancellations. Passengers on United have been the most affected over the last week.
According to data from the FlightWare website, the carrier experienced more than 5,000 delays and cancellations over the past week itself. In a letter to employees, the carrier's chief executive, Scott Kirby, said that thunderstorms at United's largest hub in New Jersey, has created an extended limited operating environment. Meanwhile, Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg has told the American media that the Federal Aviation Administration would hire 1,500 new air traffic controllers this year and another 1,800 next year.
So to understand this better, we also earlier spoke to our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who explains what caused such chaos and cancellation at the airports. Listen in.
Well, in short, foul weather, tech glitches, and staffing shortages have been to blame for this disruption. The Department of Transportation's Federal Aviation Agency is still struggling with shortage of air traffic controllers 3 years after the COVID-19 pandemic. The shortage is significantly more in the busiest airports in the country, which include those here in New York and neighboring New Jersey. For example, New York is operating at only 53 to 54% of its air traffic controller staff. This often causes a ripple effect across the country. The FAA sought to lessen this logjam by advising airlines to fly fewer airplanes. However, this Band-Aid approach did not work and could not handle what was to come. And while this past week, thousands of flights have been canceled, this cancellation and delay issue at American airports has really been year-round. For example, this year, the average flight cancellation just generally is about 450 flights a day. While Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has tried to put the blame solely on the bad weather across the country, from airlines to Republicans, pilots and passengers are all blaming the Federal Aviation Agency and also a lack of planning.
Further to this, Susan also tells us if the worst is behind travelers and what to expect next.
Fortunately, it does not seem like the worst is over. I'll give you some numbers. Nearly 2.7 million people per day have been streaming through airport checkpoints since last Thursday, including 2.88 million on Friday alone. This is the highest number ever recorded by the Transportation Security Administration. There were about 15,000 flight delays in and out of the United States on Saturday and Sunday, and a total of 905 flights were canceled during the weekend. More severe weather is expected, and those weather conditions are expected to affect at least 15 states from the northeast, mid-Atlantic to the southeast, not only on Monday, but all throughout Tuesday as well. Passengers have now dished out hundreds, even thousands of dollars on hotels and accommodation, just to wait and see what comes next.